Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone is well. Here we are back at Magical Coffee Hour. We're going to see if we can talk about a few things and catch y'all up on what's going on here at Working Dragon Mystic. First off, I know a lot of people's been wanting to know if and when I would do it. We have started a series on the higher rulers in Dragon Magic over at the locals community for Working Dragon Mystic. It is for supporters. At this time, that's where that series is going. We'll see how it ends up turning out. So far, it's been a really great series with a lot of great questions, a lot of great feedback from you all. Thank you for that too, by the way. So yeah. Also, for those who don't know, we do have a workshop coming up this Friday for supporters. You guys will obviously get access to it because you are a supporter. Anyone else, if you want access to that workshop, which is going to be on magical planning and life planning and scheduling. A lot of people ask how I managed to get the stuff done I do. So we're actually going to discuss that in detail during that workshop. But if you're not a supporter and you want to take part in that, you can go over to workingdragonmystic.com, check the online school. The workshop should be one of the first things on the page there. Do sign up for it because I'll be honest with you. The workshops over on the online school at Teachable, we've been getting a very, very, very poor turnout for build time. Like it takes a long time to enter those things into that system. So there is honestly some consideration that we will stop doing workshops at the online school if they stop getting traffic in order to save myself and the other instructors time and just move those more over to the locals community because that seems to be getting the higher traffic for all workshops, whether they're supporter only or public. Jade, thank you for sharing that. Yes, that is the link to the locals community. So there you go. Jade, thank you. Let's see. Halloween, good to see you. Violet Star, welcome. Angela, good to see you. Lori B, good to see you. I think that's Denise, good to see you. Ball, good to see you. First live stream I've caught, Drake. Hey, good to see you. Glad you could make it. I'm actually am literally drinking coffee tonight, people. It's been an exhausting week. So last few, I've been drinking more water, but tonight it's like, no, I want coffee. So try two. Hell no. There you are, Halloween. Remember everyone to no trolling, be nice, listen. Oh, that's sweet. Yes, do be nice. Keep it PG as we can. We try to keep these topics family friendly as possible. We do have the locals community for topics that we need to go deeper into. And we do have admin that will remove comments. And please, no spamming. So no trolling, no spamming. We do appreciate that. Thank you, Angela. Archie Dragon, good to see you. SNT, will you delete the courses from Teachable and put them on locals? No. So here's the thing. We're not going to be deleting the courses from Teachables, though total absolute, I want to be honest with everyone right now, okay? The site, Teachables, it is getting expensive in this economy. I am doing everything I can to maintain the school and everything. I've been in talks with Teachables and everything and looking at ways to reduce the overhead. So my goal is to not turn off Teachables. Like there is a way to turn it off so I'm not charged at all, but the courses would remain on the system, even if they're not purchasable. So everyone who's purchased it would still have access to it. So first off, let's be clear. If you've bought the course, you're going to have the course. Easy peasy. Secondly, we are looking and testing, possibly building playlists out of the courses for supporters over on locals. Um, we're doing it right now with Dragon Magic 101. And I'm getting ready to start filming the Norse Magic course. And what I'm what it's looking like is that the playlists are going to be rougher than the courses and not quite what I like. But we're going to still see how we can manage it, because right now the way we have it set up, it allows me to have all the courses available at all times, blah blah blah. But if we downgrade the overhead, I may have to shuffle through what courses are available when. But when you purchase it, you have it, okay? Unless I absolutely just fully delete the school, which I'm not doing that. So if you have it, it'll be there. But for supporters, we are actually trying to get that same content over at the community so that you can work through it if need be. And like I said, Dragon Magic 101, which has been our pilot class, obviously, working Dragon Mystic, right? It's also the one we're testing over there. So far, the videos are coming through great. There's a few things I'm questioning on how we're going to make it work, but I'm going to see if I can make it work. And if I can, woo-hoo, that would be great. Good question, though. Good question. Where was that one? Read for your wisdom today. Ready for your wisdom today. Appreciate it. So we're trying to figure that out, SNT. We're trying to test it around to figure it out, because basically, let's be honest, the economy is making it hard for me to do what it is my goal is to do, unless I like jack the prices up. And let's be honest, I refuse to do that. I'm not going to do that. So there we go. Let's see. Also, if you are here, give us a thumbs up, give us a like. It does help the channel out immensely and the algorithm. Let's see. Ready for your wisdom today? Oh yeah, we got some good wisdom coming. Drinking tea, eating wine gummies. I didn't even know they made those. That's kind of neat. So, okay, last week I had a few of you asking about a few things. First off, spell workings, and I actually had someone ask about the Fey path working during the stream, and I think the Norse path working was brought up. So I actually want to try and touch on all those things for you all this evening. First off, spell working. Yes, it's like I've thought about this one all week, and I am going to start doing some more spell working videos, probably here on YouTube and over on locals. In fact, during one of the live streams, I think it was the impromptu live stream we did here on YouTube this week. Someone gave me the idea of bushcraft magic. I'm actually going to dive into that because that is a very fun topic for me specifically, and it's a great area, I think. And I'm probably going to do a lot more spontaneous videos because that's the kind of content where, honestly, it piques my interest the most, which the constant schedule, this must do this, must make this video, has kind of got me to a almost burnout point in some ways. And I feel like you all specifically have so many questions on such a broad topic. I don't also want to pigeonhole you guys into just hurry up and wait for when I can fit that topic in. So this helps me from a creative perspective because my randomness, and it also allows me to get more content specifically that you guys are asking about, because you guys have massively amazing ideals and questions. So that is one thing that I am looking at. Now, one of the things that interestingly I realized this week, though, in this thought process is one of the reasons it's gotten harder for me to do like spell videos is like I've gotten to a point in my practice where I use very, very few components at all, if any. So my methodology of using spell working really doesn't translate too well into those videos per se. And I'm actually going to do a video where I talk more specifically on that. But as a teacher, I need to back my brain up and get back into that and start talking about, where we all start. So I'm going to enjoy doing these videos just on the exercise for my own brain as a teacher kind of concept there. Um, let's see. I get it. Thanks for the accurate response subscription. Plus private playlists seem to be the hot thing right now. I don't know if it's a hot thing. It's just like if I'm not a big fan of it personally, but at the same time, I got to do what I can do with business and the economy. The economy sucks. So, but I think you're right. A lot of people like that concept because I guess it does come with a lot of value for your dollar in a lot of ways. And it also comes with a lot of extra stuff that it allows us to do. So I don't know. I have to wait and see. I wish I could super accurately predict the future, but I do my best. Um, let's see, Vitki, good to see you. Angela, same here. Weirdly, I usually just use don't. uh, Tiffany Crossman, most of these no spirit wants blood in return. Sorry, blood's not a required thing. I don't know where you're watching it, but you didn't see that on my channel because I honestly rarely, if ever, offer blood as a offering of any kind to any spirit. And when I do so in a method that is sanitary, safe, and it's like one drop from a diabetic lancet. That's absolutely it. And I have not done that in 4 years. At least 4 years. So it's no, the word most spirits want blood. That is an inaccurate statement. Sorry. Um, let's see. Art Dragon, I'm broke too. Hey, people, it's the economy. It is. We got to do the best we can to get by and survive. And that's the reason I refuse to raise prices at the school. You follow this channel for a long time, you'll know I wanted to create courses and material that is available and in a format that I could make it available and to every person. And for many reasons, there's reason I can't just throw it up on YouTube for free because a good chunk of that content get taken down. Let's be honest. So I'm trying to balance that time, effort, input, output, blah. So I'm doing the best I can. See, the only time I use Vicky, I have been thinking about this a bit. I know you're not supposed to tell the Fae your name, but what about other entities such as dragons, for example? This is actually a debated concept across a lot of different belief systems and whatnot, even with the Fae. And I would agree with the Fae, don't give them your name. I really would, unless you already trust them immensely. But a lot of people also say this is why a magical name is of use, because then you can give that and it's not your real name kind of concept. But then a lot of people start identifying more with the real name than their magical name than their real name, at which point the magical name now has a possession, so it would still work magically. As far as dragons go, there's no issue telling them they're your name, because a dragon, when it looks at you, it looks through you in a way you can't conceal something from a dragon. You can't. Other entities, it depends on the entity. By and large, outside Fae, I've never had an issue with names and entities so long as I treated them with respect. Which, if you've followed my content, I treat all entities with that measure of respect, though as an equal. I've never ran into an issue with it outside Fae. Fae, there's been a few bumps in the roads. Not gonna lie about that. There have been bumps in the roads. I have reasons to question it, but until I can confirm those reasons and nail them down better, I still, with Fae, err on the side of caution. Because I would suspect the Fae that have enough juice to actually work with, they're going to be able to see right through you the same way that a dragon can. I really think they can. Um, so, which actually, that's a great question to piggyback off of, because so many people's been asking about the Fae path workings that I've been working on. Yes, I am working on them. Yes, I have intent to make those available very shortly. There is consideration that those, due to their nature, may be supporter only. I don't know if those will make it to the school. We'll see. I want to make them at the school. I absolutely want to put them at the school. But here's the thing. There are two separate Fae path workings. One is a winter court, one is a summer court, right? That means you actually will have to do the path working when that court is in power. Got me? That means you can't, for example, pick up the winter or the summer court and do it during the winter in the Northern Hemisphere. Now, you also need, I'm going to make sure in the listings we know what the hemispheres are for your region, because right now we've passed the summer solstice. Most people don't realize this, but the winter court is now in power in the Northern Hemisphere, which means the summer court is now in the Southern Hemisphere of this big giant rock we call Earth. And come winter solstice, they'll flip again. So the path workings will need to be done during those times. Okay, with me? Cool. So I am hoping to start uploading over at Locals on a playlist, assuming the Dragon Magic 101 test and the Norse course test. And well, I guess I can run it past Tatiana on the testing for the Fae one too. The Fae path working sometime around October or November. And the reason for that is I want to get some videos uploaded. And I want to get them there so you can take notes. You can think about it. You can plan it. The whole thing won't be uploaded. But since that path working quite literally starts at the winter solstice, because that's when the summer court goes inactive, right? I want to make sure that we have it a month or two out before the solstice so that you can look at it, watch it, take some notes, plan it, figure out where you're going to do it. If you want any of the optional items, some people like optional items, some people don't. Give you time to get them. So that's kind of where we're at with the Fae path working. I know a lot of people's been anxious about that. I was kind of hoping I'd be able to hit the summer solstice. I missed it. Was not able to. We ran into some problems. My apologies. But I'm pretty sure I can get the summer one starting to roll out for the winter solstice. Does that make sense? Did I lose anybody? Did I confuse anybody? Did I make anybody go cross-eyed? I hope not. Because I know sometimes talking about Fae, I go cross-eyed. Whew. Let's see. Scarlett, I want to find better ways to work with Archangel Michael. Everyone who has worked with him spoke of some connection or change within themselves. I feel like I'm not doing anything, just prayer and candle. Scarlett, have you considered evocation? Like, I love working with Archangel Michael. I really do. Also, consider checking out, I think you have an Astral Sanctum. I think you've gone through the Astral Sanctum stuff that we've done on the channel. You can also work with him directly in your Astral Sanctum and spend time with him. I absolutely adore Archangel Michael. He's a very hard-working individual. He has that very warrior's nature. He's very protective. He can be aggressive to enemies, that's for sure. But he also has this very humble, calm, honorable mentality to him, which is something I love about him. So I would try either of those as great ways to start getting to know him. Sit down, spend time talking with him, and spend time talking about what it means to fight and what it means to fight for something genuinely. Because he's not a sellsword, right? He doesn't just fight for fighting. Everything he fights for has purpose and has reason and has meaning. And understanding that side of combat and conflict is something this day and age most people don't, and he's very eager to talk to about. So definitely consider those as a few things, and it does go beyond prayer, because now you're sitting having a direct interaction, building a direct relationship And Astral Sanctum is probably the easiest way. You can check out our video on that. If you're interested, we do already have a course on evocation. You can check that out. I want to say Archangel Michael is one of the angels in it. I want to say. I think so. Pretty sure. He better be, being one of my favorite angels. Redani, how do you know you're shielded correctly? Can if you can't see the shield, is there a method? Not really. No. When it comes to shielding, you are talking about etheric manipulation and energy manipulation. You either you feel it or you see it. And by and large, doubt is going to be your problem. The more you doubt it, the weaker the shield is, period. Now, that being said, there is the statement, a lot of magicians use it. I've used it myself in the past. You have to know that your technique is working. You have to know you're pulling your aura in. You have to know that bubble shield is there. Whether you see it or not, you have to know it. And knowing it's the more important thing. And that's an easy statement, but if you've already got doubt, it's a really hard thing to do. But there's outside just practicing it. No, you really need to develop your arcane senses. Your arcane senses are the only way you're going to know if you're genuinely manipulating ether, aka energy, at any level, period. That's the only way you're going to know it. So you need to work on your arcane senses there, because if you have your arcane senses developed, you're either going to feel it or see it or both. That's pretty much it. And make sure, beyond the shadow of a doubt, make sure you're pulling your aura in under your shields. If your shield is here, like let's say it comes out to here, and your aura is on the other side of the room because it expands out, your shield's useless. Okay? It's absolutely useless. You have to pull your inner etheric body, your aura in, and the shield has to be on the outside. Let's see. Mathis. Hey, man, been a while. Good to see you. I understand that balance can be difficult, but I always appreciate the effort you put into your channel and the school. Thank you, Mathis. Thank you. I do the best I can. I actually enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. I know I said burnout, and I do mean it. Like, I can get to burnout, but do not think when I use the word burnout, that doesn't mean I don't enjoy it. Like my wife is a really smart lady. Instead of telling me she doesn't never uses the word, if you get tired of doing what you're doing, I don't mind if you stop. She always says if you stop enjoying it, right? Because she knows this is something I genuinely enjoy. She knows I can push myself too hard. She knows I can, get in a rut where I'm doing the same thing over and over and hit burnout, but that doesn't change my enjoyment of what I do. And thank God for her, because she does remind me, and she's right. I love what I do. I don't know what I would do if I suddenly wasn't able to do what I'm doing right now, if that makes sense. So I do appreciate it, and I appreciate y'all's understanding. Y'all have been a great community. I will say that, I appreciate it. You guys are great. I do this more for you all than anything. Angela, seems like if you can't trust an entity with your name, don't feel safe working with them truly. Something to cross the head. Yeah. I mean, honestly, truly, straight up, I agree. If you can't trust an entity while you're working with them. I understand that Fae, it's not a matter of trust. It's more of mischievous dealings. A lot of the things that people blame and accuse Fae of, they just don't do. That's not to say Fae are safe. I can't use the word safe with Fae, but it's a lack of understanding in Fae culture, might be the better term. Because I can tell you right now, the lords and ladies of Fae, if they want your name, they're going to get it. Okay, period. You're not going to hide your name from them. Lesser Fae, yeah, I can see that you hiding it from them. But I would agree. If I can't trust an entity, why am I working with them to start with? That's kind of been my whole shtick for many, many years. Let's see. Arc Dragon. The only one not to pass is the global economy part. I'm not sure I understand the statement right now. I really don't want to get into politics either, but I mean the economy it's hurting here where we're at, and um, Tina Wells just uh, let's see, Mathis. I left an offering for the Seelie and Unseelie as well as spring and summer dragons on the solstice to celebrate their changeover. Hey, that was very nice of you. That is very nice. And kudos on using Seelie and Unseelie. A lot of people don't use them fancy words. Kudos, Mathis. Um, no problem. Better late than never. We're just a big old goofy family here. Let's see. Let's see. Vicky, we love you, Drake. You're an amazing teacher. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you. Not just metaphysical, but philosophical and life advice in general. Well, okay. Thank you for that. I do try. And this is, I mean, I got on here, I thought I was just going to teach occult material, right? But somewhere along the way, I realized occult material, life, and general viewpoint and I guess philosophy, as you mentioned it, a lot of those intertwine in a way that you really can't separate them and them truly be functional, right? And it's been a really weird thing because I've been asked, how do you progress? How did you progress as a magician? How did you do this? And I'm usually focusing on, what steps did I take mechanically to progress my studies in my arcane senses or the arcane pillars as the dragons talk about or dragon magic in general. It's only been in the last couple of years that I've really realized that also my understanding of these other areas really accelerated my magical practice, but at the same time my magical practice accelerated my understanding of these things. So I had to change gears if I'm going to actually do what the goal of this channel is to teach, help, and help people find whatever their path may be and seek out self mastery and self empowerment, right? Because ultimately, if I can achieve those two concepts, if I can help you reach self mastery and self empowerment, regardless of your path, regardless of your beliefs, regardless of if you ever attempt magic at all, I consider that a winner. I really, really, truly do. So yeah, that's just me. That's just my viewpoint on the world. Like it, love it, hate it. You know what I mean? See, I can feel energy, but I can't say I can pull my aura. But I guess if I'm doing it right, can it? If I'm doing it right, can it destroy it again? Okay, any shield you do, any energetic shield you do, I do mean any ether that comes into contact with it wears it down. They're never permanent. If you develop a shielding practice, you need to be shielding 4 to 3 times a day. Even when you get good at it, you're still looking at twice a day. Okay. Like I've been shielding for absolute years. Okay. I still refresh my shields twice a day, period. No exceptions. Yes, they will break. Yes, they will damage. Yes, they will wear away. That is the nature of etheric energy. They're not a permanent structure. They will wear away. That's just the nature of the beast. You're not doing anything wrong when they do that. That's why shields are shields and wards are wards. And even a ward deteriorates with time. That's why they need maintenance. But a shield is just a temporary thing. It's going to last. Even if you shield and sit, like let's say you're sitting in a little bubble of no ether, right? And you're just sitting there. You're in a perfect etherical vacuum, which, by the way, you'd be dead. That's not possible. But let's just assume, for the sake of this discussion, We found the vacuum, right? And you're sitting there and you shield. Your shield's good. It's good. It's good. It's the best shield that ever was. It's the greatest. It's the greatest. Even sitting in that vacuum, it will deteriorate inside a few hours, even if nothing comes into contact with it. That is its nature. That can't be stopped. Does that make sense? I hope so. Let's see. Can you work with mermaid energy without being near ocean? I have some. Yes, absolutely. First off, there's different styles of mermaids. A mermaid's not a mermaid, not a mermaid. There's different styles of them. Some are face, some are not. They're freshwater, they're saltwater. Okay, first off, you could go to a flipping desert though, and as a magician, you can call the energy to you and still work with it or the entities. So you could go to the flipping desert and call on you some mermaid energy, and you could work with mermaids in the flipping desert. It can be harder to harness up those energies because there's less of it naturally where you're at. There is still moisture in the desert. You just got to know where to look, right? But you can still do it. You do not have to be near the ocean. Great question. Oh, speaking of which, everybody, you guys got me answering questions and stuff. I almost forgot one of the things I want to talk about today. So, you notice what's behind me? I love this thing. Someone got this for me. I love it. Anywho, for those who don't know, 4th of July is this week coming up. If you live in America, it's a thing. We have a good time, right? It celebrates our Independence Day. Okay, if you don't live in America, still lend me your ears, friends. So, there are a lot of people who are asking me about self mastery, self empowerment, and is there a time of year where you can utilize energy or magic or spell work to really truly kind of just kick yourself down the lane nice and far? Yes, times like this. Right now, the energetic mindset, if you will, around a holiday that deals with a celebration of freedom. Okay, here in America, we got it. And believe it or not, there's a lot of people around the world who look to us for inspiration, which there's days that baffles me. I'm not going to lie. But hey, cool, America. And that concept of freedom and what we fight for. So even if you're not American, since that energy is so high, you could work during this time frame for some that freedom energy, because freedom does help us drastically in self mastery, self empowerment. Because if you have self mastery, if you have mastered the self, and if you are empowering yourself, these remove reliance on external sources and systems. You are a self contained individual and mage, right? That is a flavor variety of freedom. Thus, freedom can also build those things. So you can use self mastery and empowerment to gain freedom, but you can also use freedom and ether based around freedom concepts to boost those things up as well. So, from a magical standpoint, if you are actually seeking self mastery and self empowerment, now is a great time to do some spell working and utilize the season. Now, if you're elsewhere in the world and 4th of July ain't your freedom flavor, that's cool. Look at your area, look where you're at. What is it that has that similar resonance with you? Global history is a big history, people. There's got to be something somewhere, somehow. You can find it. I'm definitely going to be doing some magic this week that leads into that, because I'm always working on things in my life that can improve my standing, my self reliance, my self mastery, my self empowerment. I'm always working on those. And this is a perfect time of year to do those magics, especially if you're here in the States. And I just realized my microphone's sneaking on camera. Look at him, just sneaking on there, trying to say hello, ain't he? So, yeah, I wanted to make sure anyone who was looking in for spell work like that, you can do that. Now, if you are wanting to set a spell working like this up, harnessing those energies is pretty easy, because you can just focus on the celebration energy of those. Even taking part in that celebration can be turned into a ritual itself. So here in America, obviously, I could slap this up on the wall, use this as a focus, and bada bing, bada boom, right? I could also, y'all remember my firework tapestry? The wife got me that one. I could utilize my firework tapestry because fireworks are a big thing around here, 4th of July. We love blowing things up with pretty lights. That's what we do. Um, so you could even use something like that. You could even actually do the ritual over, let's say you do like we used to do. Like I can't set fire. Actually, I haven't checked the regulation on fireworks where I'm at currently. That being said, when I was a kid, we'd buy the big boxes of fireworks and like spend all day, all night for 2 days. So you could actually do your ritual over the fireworks with the focus on your intent for self mastery, self empowerment, freedom, those kinds of concepts, whatever it is. And you need to think about what freedom, self mastery, and self empowerment mean to you, independent of others. Okay. Pull yourself away as a singular being, right? And you can charge that whole freaking box. And every time one of those things are going off, it's releasing more energy into the working. Just shoo, shoo. Sparklers do the same thing. They may not shoot in the air, but they still release that etheric energy that you're looking for. Just a little concept. Some people's, like I said, you guys have been asking me for spell working ideas. Give that one a try. Oh yeah, there's plenty of seashells in desert. Plenty of them. Plenty of them. From days when things flooded. I mean, a lot of our salt actually comes from a salt mine that was actually sea salt that is embedded into like rock and stuff now. And now it's mined because the ocean's receded, it's dried. Great example is actually the salt I use here at the house is Redmond's real salt. I love that stuff. It's freaking delicious. Look it up. They'll tell you about the story. You don't have to buy it. You can just look it up and read the story. But if you're looking for a delicious salt, it's delicious. I've gotten addicted to the flavor. I just about won't buy other salts now. Let's see. Mathis, I actually had a breakthrough a couple nights ago during my meditation while listening to your sound meditation. Awesome. Awesome. I love sound meditations. I really do. That's why I had to include them in the meditation course. Not enough people actually do a good job with sound meditations. Not enough people include them. I heard my mom calling my name during the meditation, and it shocked me out, though it was my brain being tired until she told me she had been hurting that night and almost came to me. Oh, ooh, yeah. During that meditation, you're making that link, that connection. I've had that happen. For what it's worth, Mathis, I don't know what happened. You don't have to tell me privacy and all that, but I do hope your mom's doing better. Let's see. Thank you so much for the mermaid advice, everyone. No problem. That's why we are here. Like, there is this concept, and it's there's this concept that in order to work with something, you for some reason have to be right locally located to it. And at the same time, we teach that magic isn't limited by time and space, but and that's one of the things that's never made sense. And it's one of the things that genuinely, even for me, because I came into this, when that was a deep concept. So it was really hard for me to shift my brain. And I was the first one, raising my hands like, wait a minute, if time and space and location ain't the thing, then why do I have to be in this location? Just wondering. And no one could answer the question. And that drove me batty, which drove me to experiment, which drove me to try different things and see how I got results. And I got great results all around. Now, like I did say, harnessing the energy can be somewhat trickier because there's technically, naturally less of it in those areas. Not none of it, just less of it, right? But it's doable. And it's not hard. It just may take a little extra time, a little extra thought, but it's not hard. So there is an advantage to going to places with large quantities of water. There's an advantage, but there's not a true disadvantage. There's not a like point where it's like, nope, you can't work with mermaids now. It doesn't have the Aquaman problem. Mermaids aren't useless the moment you're away from the ocean. No Aquaman problem. And any nerd here, you guys know what I mean when I say the Aquaman problem. She's doing great. Wasn't anything major. No, good to hear. Good to hear. Mugs up, Mathis. Always good to hear. What's your thoughts on Moldavite? I'll be honest with you. I don't work a lot with stones. I don't really find them overly useful. It's one of those things where a lot of people put a lot of credit into stones, and a lot of people tell people to do things that are very dangerous with stones. And those stones can be a helpful aid. Scientifically, they do not do half the squat a lot of stone and crystal people say they do. There are people who literally say scientifically crystals are living. No, they are not. They do not remotely check the box for a living substance, a living thing. They don't even vibrate in the way that they claim science says they do. So, yeah, there's a lot of things. I have issues with the way crystals are taught. And at this point, I'll be honest, I can't remember Moldavite's direct properties, again, which makes sense because I don't work with stones a lot because of these different reasons. And while we're on the topic, by the way, if some weirdo crystal user on YouTube or a book or anywhere tells you to take a rock or a crystal and shove it into an orifice, don't do it. Don't. That aside, I do love stones and crystals this all the same, though I don't use them drastically in magic. Like, I love nature. I absolutely love nature. And there is no way I can't look at a crystal formation or rock formation and not think of how freaking beautiful it is. I grew up in the Appalachian Mountain, people. I grew up around Mammoth Cave. I grew up in an area that has a all natural moonbow. Yes, that's right. You heard me. Moonbow, a full moon by a rainbow by a full moon. Very rare, but absolutely gorgeous. That said, they can be used for associative items. I've not really seen anything. I've used them. I've ran testing for many, many years. They don't really do anything extra special outside of any other item or component you might use that matches an association. Okay. And that association doesn't even have to be in a book. It's what do you associate it with, right? It has to make sense to you. Don't go spending money on all these correspondence tables and books. And like, I saw somebody pay $100 for a stone book like this. Don't do that. If you pick up a stone and you say, hey, this stone reminds me of insert line, it'll work. That being said, I have found that you can charge them with energy, and they do seem to take energy well. Ironically, and this is true, and I've actually had magicians when I say this, like, what? And then they test it and they're like, holy shit, he was right. One of my favorite substances to charge isn't crystal, it's glass. It's glass, especially when I'm doing elemental work, because glass is formed using essentially all four elements. You have your earth in the sand, you have the fire that superheats it and melts it, you have the air that helps it to cool it. And if it's blown glass, well, you even get more air. And the glass goes from an earth solid to a liquid. And so, I mean, you're dealing with all those forms there. And it's just super crisp, it's super clean, it's very customizable, and I love customization, right? I love super customization. That's why ultimately quartz crystal, if I use crystal for charging, it's quartz, because it's the one that most people, it's like, it's just versatile. It's neutral. It does it all. And I actually find quartz quite beautiful. Um, that's generally where I'm at on it. I know there's a lot of people that love their crystals, and that's great. That is great. I got no problem with it. Like, I've seen some amazing things done with crystal grids. There's just also a lot of things that they say, like, it's they say it's backed by science, and it's not. It's backed by insanity, kind of like quantum mysticism. There's nothing scientific about quantum mysticism except the word quantum, and they're even misusing the word quantum. And that's a big pain in the ass annoyance for me. Sorry about the rant. Sorry about the rant. I do think Moldavite's a pretty stone, though. I mean, I think it's a pretty stone. Or is it a crystal? I think it's a crystal. It's the green one. It's like an olive green. I think it's pretty. Anywho. People, there are people who eat crystals all the time. Like, a lot of stones and crystals are water soluble, and there's people dropping them in beverages, just bloop, like you would a cube of ice or something, and they're drinking, not realizing how many toxins and poisons they're ingesting because that thing's dissolving. There's a lot of bad information on there on crystals. So I tend to rant more about the negatives and talk about the positives because I'll be honest, I'm trying to get people to realize this ain't safe. Like, they're like, it's a natural substance, it's safe. Yeah, so is nightshade. Nightshade is perfectly natural. It's found in nature. Guess what? It'll kill you. It will kill you. Just because it's natural don't mean it's safe. A great white is natural. It'll eat you. Sorry. Did I mention I'm allergic to stupid people? I think I've said that on this channel before. Let's see. See, who knows, but someone has done it. Oh, people's done it. People have done it. Like, I'll be honest. One of the interesting things about what I do, especially getting on YouTube, like, I used to teach at different events and whatnot, and people would come up and tell me what they did. And that, it's, you hear it, it's like, they did what? And it didn't make sense. But when I got on YouTube and people's like, oh, I'm going to email him, and like, I hear some of the weirdest stories, and I'm reading them, and some of them's concerned people, some of them's asking questions before they do something. Cool. Dot your I's, cross your T's, get it. But then other people's telling me, like, they know this person who did this, and it's just like, how did you get to that conclusion? That's like going bungee jumping and literally saying, you know what? I don't need a bungee cord. Watch. Woo! Didn't work. Did not work. But hey. Bruce, there's a category for. Oh, I think I know some. I think I've heard about this hurricane. Stay safe, mate. Stay safe. I've been through several hurricanes myself. Do be safe. If you have any rednecks throwing a hurricane party, go grab some food and a drink, but then stay safe. Okay. And I wish I could say I've never been to or thrown a hurricane party, but I can't do that because redneck mage, right? It's a tradition. We do stupid shit. We also do tornado parties because if we're dying, we're having fun doing it. But stay safe, mate. Let's see. It's safe because it's a statement that it's weird. Like, the concept of it's natural, it's safe. Like, when I was 10, I did not understand that statement. I did not understand that statement because I grew up with all kinds of poisonous plants around my yard, and my dad's like, don't do this, don't do this. We had copperheads and all kinds of other things. And it's like, just natural does not mean safe. So it's one of those little things. I'm not going to call out anybody. I'm not going to badmouth anybody because I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that guy. So if you're expecting me to call people out, don't ask me to. But it's one of those things where I really want I don't want to call people out because I want to teach people to think for themselves and ask questions, right? That's why on this channel, it's like, try this thing. Try it. If it doesn't work for you, cool. Don't mind it one bit. If you find something else that works for you, cool. I don't mind that one bit. That's why we keep talking about individual path, not you have to do what Drake says or nothing else is going to work. Brr, horse shit. Uh, let's see. Vitki, how would I describe your arcane senses and in general what they look/feel like and how they're supposed to work? Can they look different for different people? Absolutely. The way we process information through our arcane senses can very well be different for different people. That's why to say that it's supposed to do this isn't going to work. Many times on this channel, I've actually talked about when we talk about arcane sight and arcane hearing, we're talking about a perceiving of something. We're not talking about you're seeing it with your eyeballs, because your eyeballs are not seeing etheric energy at all. Your eyeballs are not seeing spirits. Your arcane senses are, and your brain's picking up that and interpreting it and processing it. So technically, for lack of a better word, unless you have aphantasia, like if you look at something and you close your eyes and you can still, think of what it looked like, or if I say apple, think of an apple and it, pops in your head. That's it. Okay, you can still have arcane sight with aphantasia. Wait, Drake, what the hell? Aphantasia means you cannot visualize a picture in your brain, right? That's what it means. That is what it means. However, your arcane senses does not need to generate an actual image for your arcane sight to function. How the hell does that work? Well, same thing. If you're here with aphantasia right now, close your eyes. Right now, I'm going to say a word after I stop ranting. I'm going to do 4 in a row, and I want you to think of that object: apple, orange, banana, mongoose. Okay. The way you thought of that object appearing, you didn't see it, you thought of it, right? That is enough to function as arcane sight because you can think without seeing, you can think of the thing, right? And hearing, you don't hear it with your earbones. Your earbones aren't in there vibrating, going, no, you're picking up on something that is generating, and it may, for some people, it sounds like something that you're hearing with your ear. For some people, they've described it as seeing it typed down on a screen. Just for some people, their hearing comes across more emotionally, and that emotion shapes into the sound. I've heard it described in so many different ways. I've heard some people even describe it full-on teleprompter style. That would seem really flipping annoying to me. But so it can appear and function in different ways. It's based on how your brain processes information. And we all know our brains do not process information the same. My wife, she can process a lot of information. She's like one of the smartest people I know. But if you have her listen to a YouTube video that point blank shows her what to do, tells her what to do, the moment the video ends, she's like, I don't know. I don't know. Like if it comes to seeing and hearing, my wife does not process information. She does not retain it. But if you give her like some of the most confusing, backwards instructions, it doesn't matter. She can read them, and even if they're confusing as hell, she retains and understands the information better than if you just told her what to do. It's cray-cray. But we have to consider ourselves as an individual. Remember, one of the first things I've said about Magic, about self-mastery, about self-empowerment. One of the first and most important rules, and it's even in the laws of magic that I did took 2 or 3 videos to do on. Know yourself. Know yourself. You have to understand you, and that's part of it. Understanding you is also understanding the way you process information. And understanding how you process information is going to help you understand how your arcane senses are going to present. And when you're starting to do those exercises and they start to present, you're like, oh, that's what this is. I'm not going cuckoo. I'm not going loco. Does that make some sense? I hope that makes sense. That was a long rant, but I hope I made sense in the process. Great question, by the way, Vicky. Great question. Dragon Paul. If I jump my spirit out of my body, will dragons guide me in the spirit realm? Not just at random. I mean, if you're talking about astral projection or soul travel, which they're not the same, assuming you actually have dragons that you work with, like a guardian dragon at the minimum, yeah, they can help you, they can guide you, but they're also going to let you kind of wander most places yourself. But they can help and guide you. They will not take you to the dragon realm. Don't ask, they won't do it. Angela. Ooh, let's see. Mathis, haven't tried mermaid magic yet. Does interest me, though. Last time I meditated in the ocean, ironically, there was a hurricane with my birth name that formed there the next week. Could be coincidence. Could be. Could be coincidence. Now, if you try the same exercise and they name another one after you, maybe not. Maybe not. you know. But yeah, that could just be a coincidence. Because just general meditation shouldn't stir up a hurricane. So unless you were trying to conjure weather magic or create a turbulence or something like that, yeah, you should be okay. All jokes aside, I wouldn't blame yourself on that one. If you are, you could just be pointing out and you honestly think it's a coincidence too, but I wouldn't blame yourself. If you are, don't. My arcane senses are very feel based. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. A lot of people's are. Cool. Happy 4th holiday, Drake and crew. Gotta fly. Bye. See you about it, Star. Actually, we're getting ready to wrap up. So, not an issue. Have a great week. And if you do anything for the 4th, have fun. Have a hot dog. Have a hamburger. Do something. I'm going to be grilling steaks, probably. Most likely. No surprise there. I'm on carnivore. It's like, so you're just making dinner. Yeah, kind of. I did do a pork shoulder this weekend that came out delish. Absolutely delish. Let's see, Angela, have you worked with a mermaid before, Drake? How did that go? I have. I have both the Fae variety and not. The Fae variety are a bit more playful and mischievous. Very reminded me, has given me very Peter Pan mermaid vibes. But at the same time, they're also like, they definitely have the terrifying, they're going to eat your flesh vibe too. So, take that for what it will. That being said, though, I kind of enjoyed it. I have a love of water. For those who don't know, one of my the first things that got me interested in science was the movie Jaws. I saw it when I was a little kid, and I was like, why would a shark do this? And I started studying sharks, and I started studying marine biology. And from marine biology, it was just, this is more science. And it just kept branching into science areas. And I realized I had a love of understanding how things worked. But my love of water never went away. My poor mom. So, I mean, so badly so, like even after I saw Jaws, like we went to a pool and to the best of our knowledge, I didn't know how to swim, right? I still had one of those big floats. Had a little duck head on it, if I remember right. I was just a wee tyke, and we're running around at I want to say the Holiday Inn at the time. It was a big pool at a Holiday Inn. And I'm swimming, I'm having me a big old time, and I realize my float has gotten a hole in it somehow, and it's starting to deflate. Ever since I was little, if something it wasn't the way it was supposed to be, it bugged me, right? It would bug me. So even then, it was bugging me, and I got out, and my mom told me, "You come get a hot dog or something." Blah blah blah. And I got out to get my hot dog. My float's kind of deflated. I took my float off, set it to the side. My sister, being my sister, oh, we forgot the hot dogs, so they had to go back. Well, naturally, me being impatient, I decided I'm going swimming. I look over the float. Float's got a hole in it. I say, screw the float. I just jumped in. Just again, remember, we don't know I can swim, if I can swim. And my mom just watching me go, ploop. I jumped in the 10-foot pool. I couldn't have been no older than 4, mate. And she just sees me go whoop, to the bottom. My mom is freaking out, screaming, going ballistic. I hit the bottom, and I realize I'm on the bottom. I'm like, oh, yeah. So I push up and start doing this little, and I just start swimming. And she, even when I poke up and I'm just kind of, she freaks out and yanks me out of the pool. But she calms down and realizes, oh, shit, he was swimming. I gave my mom so many heart attacks growing up. But yeah, I've always loved water. So I had to check out the mermaid thing. And some of it was like I was asking about physical mermaids and whatnot. And yeah, there's like, have you ever seen a physical? They never answered the question directly, but every answer they gave was on the lines of, yeah, physical mermaid's not a thing. So I'm still in the air on that. I'm still on the side of physical mermaids probably aren't a thing, but they danced around it enough. I'll leave it, maybe, possibly. If that makes sense, flesh and blood mermaids, So, take that for what you would. So yeah, I've always had a love of water and everything. All right, everyone, Jade has thrown clocks at me, and I got to get into a meeting. So you all have a wonderful week. And if you do celebrate, have a great time. Stay safe. Enjoy your fireworks responsibly. Hopefully you're someplace where you can get the good ones, and you're not in one of those lame-o places where they don't let you get fireworks. If you're watching this and you're in charge of someplace, and you're one of those lame-os who ban fireworks, screw you. You suck. You're lame. Loser. And just have a great freaking time and a safe weekend. If you're somewhere, it's not a holiday, celebrate with us. We don't care. Come on. Have fun. All right, everyone, take care, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.